So you want to get started in this thing called Regen Ag, but you have no idea where to start and you're a cropper. Cool, so I'm going to tell you exactly how to start, where to start and make it super simple. So you don't have to plant when the moon's just right and apply all these things and dig holes and put horns and stuff in it. It's very simple and it's a very easy way to get started. So real quick, my name's Simmons. I run Agresol. We help growers transition from conventional farms to regenerative farms using practices like cover crops and biostimulants to help growers get started in Regen Ag. Why am I showing you this? I just want you to give it a go. If this is something you're interested in and you've done all this, or you want to put this on your farm, contact us and we will help you with that. So I'm going to teach you how to get started and make sure it's not super complicated or expensive. Cool. So say you're an Australian wheat farmer, you just finished harvesting, this is your paddock or this is your farm. You just finished harvesting your wheat and you're planning to put it into fallow, which means you don't do anything with the land. This is what I want you to do. So I want you to take a tiny bit of your whole farm, so 1 hectare. So if you're on a 1,000 hectare operation, I want you to take 1 hectare and I want you to plant a bunch of cover crops. So a cover crop, I've got a video on that, so check it out where I explain it. But I want you to plant a diverse cover crop on just a tiny part of your farm. You don't have to go massive, you don't have to do the whole farm. Plant it on a tiny bit of your farm. So number one, cover crop, a multi-species cover crop is best, which means there's just a whole bunch of different plants in it, and that will make sure that you have a massive bit of diversity and heaps of different plant species. I would recommend checking out Down Under Covers. They got a cover crop seed company and they produce cover crops and they do a fantastic job on that. So I'd recommend getting the Summer Super Mix. I think they've recommended at 15 to 20 kilos a hectare, and it's $4.15 a kilo, which means it's going to cost you $83 to do that. $83 to do that hectare. Awesome. So we've got a cover crop. Plant it however you would plant any other seed you have. So nothing too complicated. We're not going out and buying a new fancy direct drill or whatever. Just plant it exactly how you plant your wheat crop, if that's what you're doing, and plant your cover crop. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do to get started. Now, if you're feeling fancy and you want to try something else, what you can do, and this would be the second thing to do, is add a biostimulant or inoculant to your cover crop. So biostim. Awesome. So essentially what that does is that attracts microbes to the plants and it starts stimulating all the microbes and whatnot. So the easiest and simplest and cheapest way to do this is to get your biostimulant and inoculate your seeds. That will cause for a bunch of microbes pretty much to start growing in your seeds, and when your seed germinates, it's going to form symbiotic relationships with the plant on the roots. Definitely recommend that if you're going to do this, if you're going to put all the effort into planting a cover crop, you might as well, and it's not that expensive. So I would recommend a company called Biocast. I've done that. Here are some of my results with some oats. Very good. Otherwise there's Nutrisoil, even sea soil, just whatever. Inoculate some seeds and then sow it out. So for the seed stimulant, you want to apply it to the seeds, and that's probably the easiest thing to do. For Biocast, I just crunched the numbers. Essentially it's going to cost $0.79 of Biocast to inoculate 20 kilos of seed. So that's very affordable, you get pretty good results. Now, if you're really keen on trying something, this is an extra option. If you want to try something, you can then apply a foliar spray of Biocast, for example, or any other biostimulant. They recommend at 5 litres per hectare, which will work out to be $24.75 to foliar spray a hectare with Biocast. So a 20 litre thing of Biocast is $99, and we've used almost just past 5 litres. So not much for a hectare. Cool, so making for a grand total of $108.54. Cool, so to do 1 hectare of cover crops, roughly. Now the good thing about this is that we're only doing it on 1 hectare, and so we can just see what that's like on that 1 hectare compared to the rest of the farm. If you go into this, perhaps just expect that it's going to absolutely flop, and we're just doing this for R&D purposes, just to see what can happen. So for $108 across a whole farm, or for a hectare, just to see what it's like as a feasibility project, that's not bad. So when we do come time to terminate the cover crop, what you can do is just crimp down, or even if you have cattle, go in, mow it right down, and then terminate that with a herbicide while you're probably terminating the rest of your fallow period. That's probably the easiest. And if you're grazing a hectare, you'll make that back in cattle gains. And so there's no point in doing this if you're not going to compare these two sites. So what I want you to do, when this is fully grown, and maybe after you terminate it, go in, take a shovel, dig up some of the soil, and just see what it's like. Are there earthworms? Is there a lot more pore space? Is it nice and dark? What does it smell like? All these kind of things. And then go over here and compare it to the other side of that paddock, or the other side of that 1 hectare spot, and just see what it looks like. Observe it. And then what you want to do is, when you put your, say, whatever you plant next, just plant everything as usual. Keep in mind that that was your 1 hectare block. And then when it comes time to harvest, just compare what happened across the growing season for maybe the wheat that's in there. Observe, is it better or worse? Is it, I don't know, just see what happens. And so for a relatively low cost for, I guess, R&D, you can start experimenting with Regen Ag. Now, of course, you don't have to apply your cover crops at 20 kilos a hectare. You can go 15 or 10, just whatever. You don't have to use the biostimulants. You don't have to do the foliar spray. I'd recommend doing the seed inoculant. That's pretty cheap to do. But if you don't want to spend $100, you can get that down to much less. So give it a go, experiment, see how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Cheers.